M Youth Forum, a place where we shape the next generation, place where we discuss issues like relationships, career and business advice, education and religious matters, and much, much more. So sit back, watch, and be informed. Your host is Laban Bithi.
Come to Kenya.
Okay. I'm a Nigerian. And
a very good evening. My name is Brian Moses, standing in for Laban Bithi. And once again, this is a show that you don't want to miss. We are talking issues, career, and growth. And so today, my guests are already in studio. If you're somebody who has just done his or her Form 4, or maybe you're struggling with your career, this is the missing clue, I tell you. My guests are already with me in studio. They'll introduce themselves from the far left. Mr. Raphael, introduce yourself, please.
okay, my name is Raphael Ekbeyam. I'm an agri-economist. I'm a photographer. I'm also a hotelier. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, my name is Rosemary. Rosemary Ina. It's difficult to define in one word who I am, but I would say that I'm a marketer who tends to specialize in the hotel industry, the hospitality industry. Yes.
Okay, now I'll begin with you, Raphael. What is your nationality, and why did you decide to come to Kenya?
Okay. I'm a Nigerian, and I came to Kenya for training, management training in hospitality.
Okay, now why did you choose Kenya? There's so many other countries that you could do your training, but why is Kenya for this case?
Okay, I work in a hotel called the Bomaikon Hotel in Akwa Ibom, a state in Nigeria, the second to South Africa. So
That
it's
is in Africa.
yes, in Africa. So it will be the best choice to come here for training in hospitality, especially if you've gathered the basic knowledge. Yes, in hospitality. So I chose Kenya because of that record it has in hospitality. Yes.
Rosemary, is it the same case with you?
Yeah, it's the same case, seeing that we come from the same hotel.
Okay.
Yes, it's the same case. And I think I was very excited when I knew it was going to be Sarubwa, because my then boss used to talk about Sarubwa hotels, and she used to make us go to follow, go to see what it is they are doing, because, looking at the work they do from their website to the way they respond to, comments and all of that on TripAdvisor. It's something to note. It's something to learn. So it was exciting when we're told that we're going to be coming to Kenya. As a matter of fact, we have one colleague who is not here. We had undergone a training, more like a foundational training back in Nigeria, and this was going to be like an advanced training. Yes.
Okay, now that the main topic that we are talking about today is how to build your career, or rather career training. After school, you go to school, you choose what you want to pursue. I want to pursue law, I want to pursue hospitality. Then what then after school? So just to begin with, Rosemary, how is the experience like since you came to Kenya?
Okay, I think it's been exciting. Yeah, aside the work now, Kenya is a nice place. Mombasa as a whole, the people here are friendly and all of that.
Yeah.
Then taking it to work, I would say that the experience has been really good, and it's been. I'm looking for the best words now, but it's been exciting. There's been a lot to learn, knowing how this is a tourist country. Yeah. So there are a lot of persons coming in, a lot of tourists, seeing how people get to relate with these people, you know, how they handle matters, you know, and if you see the quality of service also, it's been a lot to learn about.
And to you, Raphael, you said you're an agroeconomist, you're a photographer, you're an hotelier, and I think this is a question that will best fit you. Now, what did you do? What did you do in your tertiary level of education?
I studied agroeconomics and agri-extension.
Now, how do you manage to? I think this is now building your career. How did you manage to build your agroeconomics to photography, and now you're an hotelier? How did it work for you?
Okay, that's a long story.
That's what you want to hear.
Okay, I had admission into the university in 2012. Same year, in fact, the same month, I started working in the hospitality industry.
Wait, you got admission and began working on the same year?
Yes.
How did it work for you?
Okay, actually, I didn't know how it would look like. I had a church member who, you know, said instead of waiting, you know, the period I'm waiting for lectures to start, why don't you start working in a hotel where, you know, she worked. So I started working there as at the front desk. It's a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
So I've been, you know, I just worked to well away time. And then when school started, I actually thought when school resumes, I'm going to stop the work. But I saw the interest. I built the interest because I had a lot of money actually from it. So I continued working, even though my dad didn't really appreciate it. But I was able to convince him with my siblings, that I continue working.
Now, Raphael, what motivated you to do all this? Because as a student, like, why didn't you not choose to go and do something in agroeconomics? And in this case, now you decide to go to hospitality industry, and that's where you work to date.
Okay.
Now, what was the force behind that? And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me explain. Yeah? When I started working in hospitality, I wasn't motivated to work there. As I said, someone pushed me since you're in the house.
Yeah.
So I wasn't inspired by what I can really define now, except to leave the house. And then I'm from this family that school is everything. So it was difficult for me to convince my dad to allow me.
Yeah.
Now, so I chose hospitality because after my 5 years in school, agroeconomics is actually a 5-year course. After my 5 years in school, I've spent 5 years in hospitality. So it's almost the same. I've studied hospitality for 5 years, and I've done agroeconomics for 5 years. So I had to choose. And should I choose agriculture? Should I choose hospitality? And I'm like, why should I actually choose? Why don't I choose to go on with the two? So I decided, okay, let me still grow in hospitality as well as grow in agroeconomics. So it's a decision I made. But I really thank God that I saw myself doing that. And I would want to, in every opportunity I have, motivate young people to do same. Yes, try to do something while they're in school. Because I was distracted from some, irrelevant activities because of the fact that I didn't have time for them.
I'll be getting to you, Rosemary, but Raphael, still to you. Now, agroeconomics and now hospitality. Did you force yourself? You said you were pushed to do hospitality. Did you force yourself to love hospitality later, or you just found yourself loving it?
Okay, 5 years of working in hospitality. I now ask myself, why would I let go of this experience? Why would I waste my 5 years experience? When the society, you are applying for a job and you are about 25 years and they're asking you for 10 years experience, they're asking you for 7 years of experience. So I said I wouldn't want to throw away or disregard these years of experience. And I saw that I came to love hospitality. So I saw myself growing in it. So I decided to settle with it, in as much as I also want to grow in the agri sector.
Yeah. And now, how did photography come in?
Okay. When I was done with school, I actually needed to also engage myself. I didn't want to go to work and come back. I needed to do something business related, something that is my own. I don't believe in one source of income. So after school, the only source of income I had was the hospitality. And I don't believe in one source of income. So I said, okay, let me start a business of my own. And I now started this event planning company. And when I started with ushers, I started planning Christmas events from the hotel. And I had some ladies I introduced into ushering work. And then when I took them for photography, for photo shoot, the amount I pay was, to me, surprising. It was too much. I'm like, So I'll go to another studio, they'll be telling me almost the same price. So I asked the photographer, okay, tell me what you do that you are charging me this much. He said, I'll take a picture, you put on the system. I'm like, I think I should also introduce this to my event company. So that's when I got interested in it. I asked for the best studio in my state. I went there, I registered for the training. That's how I got interested in photography, to have a business of my own, because I don't believe in one source of income.
All right, to you, Rosemary. Now, how is your career path been? Like, when did you get done with your tertiary education, and from then, how is the moving, like step by step? How has it been?
Okay, so it's not been a smooth path, yeah. It's been high and low, because what I studied in school is not what I'm doing now. It's almost very common for many Nigerians. Yeah.
Many Africans.
Many Africans, okay. So I studied history and international studies. Before then I wanted to study law, but I didn't get the admission to do law, and so I was told that history is the closest course to law. And I could actually make a quick swap.
Yeah.
Probably my second year, and I was
did
like,
you make the swap?
I never did.
What happened?
all those stories are things that they just say. People rarely do that. It's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. So I didn't think I was willing to go that way. Initially, I was like, probably after I'm done, I could go back to do law, because I was very interested in studying law. Aside the hype around the name, I thought it was something I was interested in, because I was someone who had a thing for social change, and I was somebody who could, societal issues, it makes me very uncomfortable. So I thought it was going to be a good platform to be able to express myself, do something you like. But when things didn't go the way I wanted, I had to stick to history. But I don't regret studying history and the international studies, because if it did anything for me, it gave me a critical mind. So I understand to question things. I understand how everything from world politics to world economics, there is an idea of how all of that is. All right, world history, why people behave the way they do, and all of that. So I had intentions of, continuing. Probably towards the end of school, I was like, oh, maybe I was going to, be a diplomat. It's not very far from law, because I still get the grounds to advocate and, all the whole social change stuff.
Which everybody else has.
You get. So, I did my research, and it didn't look like all those things could happen. like immediately, because I was looking out for schools where I could maybe further go for masters and all of that, and the fees were they were quite high.
Yeah.
Looking at my background, the expectations from home, it's typical Nigerian home. When you're done with the university, you go for 1 year NYSC. It's like a service program where you get to serve the country. When you're done with that, then your parents and every other person expects that you'd be sending money back home. So they just take their hand off the matter, your matter. Yeah, so I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, so I know that I cannot go to my dad to say, this is what I want to do at this time. Because I have people behind me who are also, maybe one person just started and others are waiting to start. So, and then I was like, okay, I could do something here. And then I started hearing about, digital skills. I got to know about digital skills, and then I attended a few seminars, more like trainings, very short trainings, and that was when I got exposed to digital marketing. So I think at first it wasn't like love at first sight for me. It was just something I did because I wanted to get a digital skill. Yeah. So along the line, it came in handy. I had to manage my fellowships, like the fellowship body. I had to manage their social media platform, and then somehow I got to know about an opening at my place of work, and then I came in. I started working as a digital marketing executive, and I'd never really thought about. I'd never really seen myself working in a hotel space. Yeah. So I think that along the line, it made a lot of sense. I got to like it, because then you get to learn how to serve people. Yeah, I struggled at first because why am I carrying plates? I didn't go to school to carry plates and and clean the rooms. You get but I got to understand that in every vocation you find yourself in, at the end of the day, you're still going to have to serve people. Yes, there is the service for people. Okay, and then the hospitality industry made a lot of sense to me. Like, I got to like it. From the daily interactions with guests to, I didn't think that the fact that a guest was satisfied would make me happy. But I started looking forward to the guests being happy. I started looking forward to it. I started trying to do things that would bring this. And so I think I just stayed. Yeah. Even though I'm more inclined to, sales and marketing, but for like the industry as a whole, I think it's a very interesting place to be in. Yeah.
Now, Rosemary, how did history and international studies impact your hospitality training, rather you working in the hospitality industry today?
Okay, so it gave me, it made me know how to deal with people, because then in history, of course, everybody expects that if you study history, you should know the history of everywhere. It's not always like that, but it's easier to understand people, because the place where we had to work, it is a 5-star hotel, Ibom Icon Hotel and Golf Resorts in Uyo. So we have a lot of foreigners come there. So I could easily relate when I meet someone. I could easily tell, oh, this is how this person is most likely going to react to things and all of that, It also gave me a critical mind. Oh, I'm thinking, okay, if this is not working, how do I approach a situation? Because if you do history, you know that there is no blanket response, there is no blanket answer. Whatever it is you're going to be doing, you have to approach it with a problem-solving mind. Yeah.
Okay, now back to you, Raphael. Now, from your own experience, you said you have 3 things that you're doing, and you also said that you don't believe in one source of income. And I think all of this story is building a career. Like, besides what I did at the university, this is what this can do for me. Like, I can relate what I learned with what I want to do, or what I found myself doing. Now, from your own point of view, let's talk about, I don't want to talk about Kenya, let's talk about an African child, a child from Nigeria, a child from Kenya. How can somebody build his career from your own point of view? Like, I, Brian, I've done my journalism, but I find myself working at an hospital, you know? Or rather, I'm a student, I'm still at the university. I'm in school, you know? Most people after school, they don't get jobs. Why? Not because they didn't qualify, not because they didn't finish school, but because most of the industry do not find people with the skills they want. You get that? Now, how can somebody build his career?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, you've said something, because they don't find the skill they want.
Sure.
Now, an employer will not employ you because you've gone to school, or because you've made a lot of sacrifice in school. An employer employs you because he sees what he or she wants in you.
Yeah, sure.
So the question is, how are you employable?
Yeah, sure.
Are you employable? That's the question. How prepared are you that at this stage where you need employment, you are employable? How have you prepared your life? You see, work is application of idea to produce results. So it's one thing for you to be able to have an idea. It is another thing for you to apply the idea. And sometimes you apply ideas and you don't produce results. So the employer, maybe during interview, is able to, decipher where you are. And that is even another problem. Some people don't know how to present themselves to people, don't know how to let people know who they are and what they can do. An employer looks for your motivation, your competence, your skill and experience, exposure. So what do you share? Your employer can be in an interview, your employer can be in a matatu to a particular location, and is interviewing you from the phone calls you are making with your colleague at work, the way you communicate. You drop from the matatu and he drops with you and say, let me have your number. So what do you say every opportunity you have to say something? What do you let people know about yourself? Do you tell people, I'm tired of work, thank God it's Friday? How do you present yourself to people? Do you sell your weakness? Do you sell your strength in every moment you have to communicate? That's actually if you have what to communicate.
Yeah.
But now the question is, how do you have what to communicate as a young person? Now, you've talked about education, having what to do after school, as if school is a waste of time. But let's look at school as a place where you actually gather knowledge for the after school, where you gather experience for the after school. Now, I expect we young people to try our best to prepare our mind, prepare ourselves, since the society wants youth with experience, even or years of experience above their own age. I expect us to gather this experience at every moment we can.
And how do you do this?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how I got so used to being busy that, I have a studio, as I said. I go to work in the morning. I close by 5, sometimes 6. I move straight from work with my tie, my suit, to my studio. I remove them and I sit on the system and I start to edit pictures. Sometimes I take new pictures if I have clients, and I get home by 11 and I feel comfortable. Sleep, wake up, like a routine. you see, when I was in school, I was still going to work at night. The days I'm off, I go for night class. I didn't sleep on. I can't remember sleeping in my bed. The day I slept on my dad's couch, I slept for 12 hours. Because I'm used to sleeping on the desk.
Yeah.
Sincerely. So we should try our best to make good use of our time when in school. Let's not just all believe, oh, we're in school, let's just go to school. If you're in school, find a way to occupy that extra time you have. Find something doing, something different from what you're studying, or something related to what you're studying. It can be, but just build a skill. Build a skill. If you see, communication, it's a skill. So while you are studying communication, you can actually look for a way you can apply it. You are a pharmacy, you are studying pharmacy in school, you can actually start selling. Even if you don't get money from where you are working in a pharmacy, you can just attach yourself there. Learn how to sell. And then, it helps. It's experience you've had. You can, you are done with school with you have first class, if there is first class in pharmacy, and we are being interviewed at the same time. I'm telling someone I'm just done with school, but I have 7 years experience I've worked in a pharmacy for 7 years now. You can't compare. So what I would advise young people is engage your spare time learning skills. I think it's very rampant in my state now. Every student wants to have a skill. Either they know how to make shoes. You see young girls making shoes with their hands. You learn how to sew, you learn how to just have a skill well in school. Yes, it can be a support. And then, let me introduce this. Procrastination. It's a big problem. I don't want to go into it, but I just want to mention it before I forget. Yes, I don't know if there is a way. I encourage people to look into procrastination and see how to fight it, because it's a big problem. Yes, and then you build your life based on principles. For you to be able to actually, prepare yourself, build yourself with principles. And when you are making principles, you consider some factors. You consider God factor, very important. You consider God factor when you are making principles. You consider discipline when you are making these principles. So you're able to, then you consider hard work. So I don't know if I've been able to provide you with answers you expect.
Yeah, sure. And I just want to get to Rosemary. Rosemary, Raphael is saying that now we should keep ourselves busy. Like, you should find something for yourself to do. You should present yourself as somebody who can do what the employer needs you to do. Now, Rosemary, I want to pose this question to you.
Okay.
I said I'll talk about Africa. I want to talk about Kenya. Does it mean that an African child who doesn't have a job is lazy?
Okay, now that's you want to put me under the under the chair.
Okay, I'll ask Raphael. Raphael, does it mean that an African child who do not have work is lazy?
Maybe we can start. How I won't say how child is this child, but there is an African child who doesn't have a job. An African child who doesn't have a job may not be lazy. May not be lazy. Yes, may not be lazy because there are people who apply for jobs and maybe in the waiting period, yeah, they might be waiting probably for response or all of that. I had to wait also. I waited for like a period of time, 6 to almost a year after school, so it didn't mean I was lazy. I had other things. I was constantly sending out emails. Then it wasn't like emails. I had to write application letters, take them to establishments every time. I also had to, I started taking online courses because, I mean, if you're applying for a job, then there should be, what are you offering? So I started taking online courses. I wouldn't say I was lazy, but it's different if a person is not.
Hold the next point. I want to hear your view on this. Does it mean that somebody who is done with school and do not do anything at all and sleeps for over 8 hours or 12 hours is lazy?
Okay, I think I now really understand your question. Because initially I was thinking you are confusing idle and lazy. Now, you can really know if one is lazy if you've given the person something to do and the person is not is nonchalant about it. Yeah, but someone who is actually idle, someone can be idle. It's wrong actually to be idle, but sometimes it's not the person's choice. The society might really not allow you to work. Yes. So, but what I'm trying to say,
and that's, sorry to cut you short, and that's so common in our continent. Like the society do not allow you to do anything.
Okay, the society not allowing you to do something it's by demanding extra effort. You see, not that you can't actually do something. See, now. There are times opportunities come from the government, from companies. There are times you create opportunities
for yourself.
For yourself. By creating opportunities, it can be a business you start. It can be you going to the company to create the opportunity. I don't know if you understand me. Now, I have gone to my company where I work. How did I start? I worked at front office, but I started. Planning event for my company because I went to my colleague who is in charge of event and I told him I can do this. I don't want you to charge me. I'm not going to charge you, sorry. I don't want you to pay me, but I want you to see what I can do. Now that is me creating an opportunity for myself. You get? Now, you won't be able to pay me for what you don't know I can do. You won't even be able to employ me for what you don't know I can do.
Yeah, sure.
So you have to create opportunities for yourself. So there's a difference between being lazy and idle. Now, it's fine if you don't have what to do, but it's not okay. It's not okay. You should be able to see how to create opportunities for yourself.
Yeah.
Look for a way, look for a place, and actually, if I'm to bring God factor, the thing is, I know Rosemary is going to take over from here.
For somebody who doesn't know, Rosemary is a prophetess.
I'm just a good believer.
Okay. So I believe that God can't give you what you cannot manage. You know, you can't have what you can't manage. So some people are so religious, especially in my country, that they believe God to give them jobs, they believe God to give them promotions, but God can't give you what you can't manage. Rather, God will give you an opportunity to prepare yourself for what He wants to give you, for what you are praying for. If you say, God, I want to be a manager, He will give you the problems of a manager for you to learn how to solve. But when you see these problems, you quarrel. You see these problems, you get upset, you run away from them. How will He answer your prayers? You will disregard or insult God if He gives you answers to your prayers and you can't handle it. Even if it's an inherited prayer, that's why I say you can't have what you can't manage. Even if you inherit wealth, you don't have what. You know, you can have a million naira, a million shillings with you, and if you waste it within a few months, it doesn't mean you had it.
Yeah.
So you can't even have what you can't manage. So when people are praying, they should rather pray for the ability to handle what God can offer them. So it's still based on preparation, ability to prepare yourself before you start asking for opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rosemary, I don't want to take you into that conversation of praying and
don't
because I know we won't finish this conversation. But I just want you to expand on something that Raphael has just spoken about, and he gave out some points: motivation, compliance, skills, and experience. For you to build your career, you have to have this character. Now, how do I feel motivated? How do I, be competent? How do I look for these skills? How do I look for this experience? I'll begin with motivation. Somebody you're doing a certain course, but you don't feel motivated. How does somebody feel motivated about what he's doing?
Okay. Why is the person doing the course in the first place?
Okay. Why are you working in the hospitality in the first place, and you did nothing to do with the hospitality?
Okay, so if a person is in, doing something they are not motivated about, or for me, if you want to be practical about it, say I studied history, and probably after the first year, I didn't think I liked history, I don't think I'll opt out. I don't think I will leave, because getting admission in school is not, in Nigeria, is not something that comes very easy.
Yes, especially in the university.
And my parents won't even smile, knowing that they spent a good amount of money, and I just woken up to tell them I'm not doing again. So I think that what I'll do, this is not something everybody should, actually take, but I think people should weigh the pros and cons of whatever it is they want to do, even if they have legitimate reasons why they don't want to do something, but then thinking about it thoroughly. Because if you're not motivated to do something, have you thought that after what you're doing, do you think that there is anything you can gain out of it, any knowledge you can gain from this, you can apply somewhere else? All right, that's something to consider. And by the way, now, I don't think, yes, education is very important, but if people didn't get it, or if someone didn't get it right, at the first time where maybe they had gone to school, or they are currently in school, let's say they didn't get it right, the course they actually wanted to study, there is still space to, do whatever it is they want to do. There is a space for transitioning. It's not the easiest thing to do. I mean, nothing is easy, but then there is a place for that. So I would say that maybe just carry on with, depending on if you can afford it, then you can leave. But if you cannot afford it, then you could just go on with whatever it is you're doing. But while at it, you know that you're not going to go to school like a regular student. I mean, it's something that I did not, I didn't really understand. You can't go to school like a regular student goes to school. You go to school, you're back, you sleep, you watch movie, all of that. You won't go to school like that. You can begin to check what is it you want to do. I have a friend, she was studying history, she wanted to study communication arts, but she was not admitted. So she kept on studying history, but then she started going to a studio, like the university studio. She started working there. She was not paid. Started writing scripts, started talking, handling shows and all of that. And I don't think that if she wants to continue with that now, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Yes, there is a fact that people want certificates and all of that, but then if you try to prove yourself, all right, then people can see that, okay, this person can actually do what it is I want them to do. There is the bias of getting a certificate. So if you can actually do what you want to do, yeah, but you don't have the qualification for that, if I were an employer, I would actually employ you. Then maybe later on you could go to do what, just for, yes, there is a role that education play, but I think I would still employ you. And people do that now. People do that. If you have the skill, you can actually begin to work while you pursue. Probably you can do a master's in that. You could go back to school, but I don't think that it's totally all right to just opt out, you know, just because. Motivate yourself. Yes, for me, it's not very difficult to, I can motivate myself, because when I look around me, I know the situation surrounding my being. Something that I don't want to be poor in this life. I don't want to be irrelevant.
No one wants to be poor.
I don't want to be irrelevant. I want to be able to, I want to be valuable. I want to be somebody that people listen to. I want to be somebody that can, that can solve problems. You get, I want to be somebody that can bring about change. So when I think about all of this, that person is not somebody who is lazy. That person is not a mediocre. That person does not quit. This is enough for me to get up and go to work. This is enough for me to stay, because I go to work here, but then I have courses I take. I didn't study marketing. I didn't do anything related to marketing. It doesn't mean that I'll just wait and not. I go to work in the morning, then I take my marketing courses in the night. Because I took the course in the night does not mean that I'll not go to work the following morning. I know that the work is giving me money, you know, what I can actually use to fund my dream and fund, you know, whatever it is I want to be. So I think that people just understand why you want to do a particular thing. See if there are ways you could do those things without going, you know, without a total overhaul. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, and Rosemary is saying that if you want to be valuable, if you want to be relevant, if you want to be a problem solver, if you want people to hear you, you don't have to quit. Continue doing what you're doing. Now, my name is Brian Moses. 0715397620 is our number. If you have anything, please drop your questions, like, share, and comment on our videos. And to you, Raphael, what is your last word that you can tell somebody who is struggling with a cause or is wondering how he can expand his career or build on his career or build on what he did at the university or at the college?
Okay, actually, I actually thought we would have time because I have a lot to say about this career development. But since we don't,
I think we'll create a next time for this so that we finish all that we have. But for now, we just have to give a partition.
Okay, I would want to add to what my colleagues have said about motivation. I think every employer listening to you wants to know your motivation. And the motivation should actually be being the best. If you're in school, you should be the best. You should look at who is better than you and ask yourself, how can I be better than
the person?
Yes. At least it should be maybe your immediate senior in what bits in the performance you're doing. So if you're at work, you should have a goal, and then your goal should be your motivation. How can I get to this place? Now, as you are growing, the money will come. But between your age of whenever and 30, as far as you're in your 20s, you should acquire knowledge, skill, experience. You shouldn't go after money. Money should not be your motivation. Even if money is your motivation, never let your employer know that money is your motivation. Yes, you go for interviews and someone asks you, okay, why do you need this job? You say, I lost my dad.
Yeah, I need this money.
And yes, I'm the eldest in my family, so I need to take care of. You see, you've already let the employer know that if there is money on the floor, you are going to pick it. If you have an opportunity to rob this company, you will. Because that is your motivation, money. And then you will not actually solve problems in the company. But imagine you asking me, so why should I employ you in this studio? And I'm telling you, okay, that in 2002, I was a driver. I went to drop my boss at the studio because of the interview. So I just said, let me sit, because it was raining. So I went into the studio and I listened to the way the interviewer was asking questions, and I was inspired. And I told myself that day, I must work in the studio. So since then, I quit my job as a driver. I was paid this amount, but since that day, I've been working in it. I don't mind if you pay me, sir. I just want to grow in this. You see, the interviewer is like, and then I can even tell you, sir, but I don't have experience in it, but I know that I'm going to. You see, I believe me, the employer would want to employ me. Even will prefer me to whoever said I've had 10 years experience, but you know, I have 5 children. And so in conclusion, what I'm trying to say is, let's growing be our motivation. Let's, our goals, let's set goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, and let these goals be our motivation. Thank you very much.
All right, maybe Rosemary, your parting shot for the show.
I don't know. But I actually don't think money is a wrong motivation because okay, so
you love money.
I love money. Everybody does. Anybody who says they don't like money is, I don't know, they're not being sincere, I think.
Do you think Raphael is not sincere?
I don't love money.
You don't love money?
Yes. I don't.
Okay, your position.
So what I would say is that whatever it is you want to do as a young adult, you have to own your decision. Okay, and you have to have the right reason for whatever it is you want to do, because at the end of the day, those things are the things that will keep you going when the going gets tough. Yes, and I would like to say from like a typical African, or I don't know how it is here in Kenya, but in Nigeria, everybody wants to be a doctor, everybody wants to be a nurse,
that
a
is
lawyer,
all over in Africa.
Yeah. So, but
and I heard you saying the hype behind the name.
Yeah, but and then parents also have a hand, a role to play in this. But I would say that as people grow up, as young adults grow up, they should have a mind of their own. Begin to have independent thoughts. Begin to understand yourself. As much as you may have said when you were younger, I want to be a lawyer. You're looking at yourself now. What would I do differently? What do I think that I can function here? Do I think that you check yourself properly? Is it just the fame? Is there something tangible I want to do here? Now, everybody may not have what it is they want to do. Of course, there are new skills, there are new job openings, especially in the tech world, and those things are things that people should acquaint themselves with, because with the way the world is moving, whatever it is you're doing, you just need a touch of, or you just need to have like a little knowledge of technology. So begin to check, if you can take assessments, personality assessments, on the job, project assessments, all of that, to see if what is going to suit you as a person. You're being sincere when you're taking those assessments, knowing that it's going to guide you to whatever it is you want to do. All right, and then sometimes your dreams are bigger than the money you have in your pocket to fund them, and not everybody has that privilege. So if you have big dreams but you don't have the finances to fund them yet, start from where you are. Yes, start from where you are. Yes, and also just take advantage of there are opportunities everywhere. I feel like by now, or at this point in time, a young adult, maybe somebody who is about to get into school or already in school, you should have a LinkedIn account. Yeah, you should have a LinkedIn account. It's a professional space. You have a LinkedIn account. You go there, you see what people are doing. You want to be like a front-end developer. You want to be a digital marketer. You want to be this. You would find all of those people there. You go, you see. What I do is that I have a list of, okay, I know that I'm not up the ladder yet, but I know what people up the ladder are doing. So it's somewhere like in my phone. And from time to time I'm checking just to see in case I've been able to gather the knowledge and I was not very conscious. So you have a picture of what it is the person in that dream job is doing. You check their journey, how did they get here? You know, you look at all those things. It's not also out of place to get a mentor. Because I feel like doing life alone is difficult. And for I didn't really have, you know, I didn't really have that opportunity to have someone sit to say, okay, career-wise, this is what to do, this is what to do, and all of that. I kind of had to do a lot of figuring out by myself. And it's a reason why for people who are coming behind me, I've had to say, okay, I have a sister who is doing communication arts. I said, okay, get attachments here, take this course, do this, you know. So I feel like every young person don't just sit. Things have changed. If you think this is what you want to do, check it out. And because by the time you're looking at what it is you say you want to do, you would know whether or not you fit into it. And it's not too late to, you know, take another turn. Keep trying until you find what it is you want to do. And for me, as a believer, I would say if you're a believer, I think it's a bit better in that you don't have to do a lot of trials and error. You know, as much as God doesn't, I know that God doesn't, you know, necessarily say, you, my child, you're going to be a doctor. That's what I've brought you to the world to do. Maybe if God does that, it's for a very few persons, yeah. But then God's ultimate purpose is that people are able to fulfill their purpose on earth. People are able to show Him on the earth, despite whatever role it is you're going, whatever kind of job it is you're doing. You just know that this job is not going to take you out of God's plan. You know that this job is not going to make you somebody that used to know God. Like knowing God is now in the past, you know.
Yeah, sure.
And then there is also the place of discernment, because God talks to His children. So I'm like, okay, God, I don't know. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this. And there is a place of, see, people who have the Holy Spirit there, they have an advantage in this world. They have an advantage in this world in that there is somebody to guide you. Even when it comes to making career choices, even when it comes to schooling you on the things you don't know, there is someone to guide you. So if you're a believer, you could take advantage of this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for coming, Raphael and Rosemary. And okay, this was a big show. We talk of motivation, competence, skills, experience, volunteer, and Rosemary added Holy Spirit if you're a believer. If you're not a believer, please believe that Raphael, are you a believer? Do you believe in Holy Spirit? Do you have Holy Spirit?
Yes.
If you don't have Holy Spirit, ensure that you look for Holy Spirit. Now, work is applicable of ideas to produce results. Those are not my words. They were said by Raphael. See you next time. My name is Brian Moses, standing in for Laban Mbidi, and this is JM Studios. Bye-bye for now.